After performance, communication has to be the second most discussed topic in the Helldivers community. When are we going to see something? When will they respond? And what the hell's going on? Are familiar conversation starters when it comes to Arrowhead. And that's where we begin today as we receive some comments from the game's CEO and, oh by the way, my band from the creator program has a little bit of an update, along with the desperately needed performance patch now being delayed. In case you're new here and you want to help support the channel, please hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell as we next dive into what's going on with Helldivers. Since today's theme is all about communication, let's first drop in on the current state of the galactic war with this transmission from High Command. Following weeks of preparation, Sea forces stand at the brink of liberating the Terminid hive world, 𝗔𝗍𝗎𝗍. However, Terminid assaults on Hellmire, of course it's always Hellmire, the location of 𝗕𝗲𝗍𝗶𝘃𝗏, have been relentless. The planet presents a critical vulnerability to the impending offensive. Its loss, mid-liberation, would be catastrophic. In light of this, High Command orders the Helldivers to liberate two planets neighboring Hellmire, Errata Prime and Astanu. The liberation of these planets would insulate Hellmire from the Terminids, significantly reducing the quantity of attacks upon it. Further, the second territory would increase the effectiveness of 𝗕𝗲𝗍𝗶𝘃𝗏, further aiding the assault on 𝗔𝗍𝗎𝗍. Maybe it's just me, but it seems a bit out of place to have this small town with cars parked on the streets while lying directly in the path of the spore cloud, but you know, you've got to hand it to Super Earth. They really love to spread democracy to whatever planet as quickly as possible. Taking a quick look at the latest intel, and Errata Prime is currently being blitzed, and I do mean blitzed by the Helldivers. With just over 41,000 total divers logged on and in the fight, almost 85% of those are squashing bugs, with nearly 70% of those bug divers all hitting Errata Prime. Now, whatever you're doing right now, put it down and take a quick look to check out this planet liberation screen on the Helldivers Companion App, as with that many players all hitting EP and with the Death Star in low orbit, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. We are liberating at over 16% an hour against a planetary health bar on Errata Prime of 1.5 million. Now, at our current rate, expect to liberate this first planet in under 5 hours, while Astanu awaits us with a lower 1 million health points and a low resistance rate to boot. But there are still so many questions yet to answer. For instance, how much of an advantage will we gain by completing this major order, as the briefing mentions advantages to be gained for Hellmire and what looks like an inevitable launch towards 𝗔𝗍𝗎𝗍 Invasion Part 2. Also, if we're looking at just under 4 days remaining on the MO timer, and assuming Astanu falls quickly as well, what does Joel have waiting for us on the other side, assuming we have time remaining? Now, if expectations hold true, we are 1,000,000% looking at another attack on Hellmire, probably with some massive invasion level, but that's just what I'm thinking. Definitely drop me a comment and let's see what you have to say about it all. Speaking of checking out what other people are saying, Arrowhead's CEO, Mr. Shams Georgiani, has again taken to Discord, answering some of the community's more pressing questions, like this one from a community member once again asking about GameGuard's actions. Here's what they said. Is there no alternative to GameGuard, though? Like, this service, quote unquote, is immensely invasive and has a history of hefty performance impacts on other games, which can exasperate HD2's already very severe issues. And it doesn't quite stop cheaters. I still come across one or another from time to time. I'm not saying don't use anti-cheat, but I am absolutely saying that in my opinion, the specific anti-cheat you folks decided to use for Arrowhead is likely doing far more harm than good. To which Georgiani did reply, quote, I hear you, we're looking into it. Let's just get this patch out and then tackle this other Hydra head. Looking back on GameGuard, and you know from my past videos and many other creators speaking about this matter as well, that it does nothing to prevent cheaters or leakers. I've been in open public lobbies and seen a player already rocking the newest Warbond armors or weapons that haven't yet released. And they do this with no fear of repercussions. Now, we all know how the previous sample major orders were instantly cheesed by cheaters, causing Arrowhead to put a cap on how many samples you could donate, which was a band-aid for what GameGuard is, which is a much larger issue. It is also well known that GameGuard is extremely invasive, diving into apps and areas of players' PCs that it should not. And this entire situation is one that I dove into during the last video as part of my weekend roundup. So check in the video description or on screen for a link to that one, but overall, yeah, it's time for GameGuard to be retired. Of course, as we continue with this theme for today, that being communication, the game's performance and what Arrowhead is planning to do is still the main topic within the community, with players wanting more details, even wanting daily updates, while Arrowhead HQ has seemed content to send them out only occasionally, with most details coming from the CEO himself instead of their carefully orchestrated blogs, vlogs, or from the comms team themselves, which is a discussion for another day. Now, 𝗤𝗏𝗏 did receive a rather lengthy post and question talking about, for example, how Warframe conducts their studio-to-player communications and how thorough and consistent that line of comms truly is. His response, quote, "Yeah, I agree on the communication and Warframe is great. I feel we've slowly," and it's got like 5 or 6 O's there, "started to improve in comms cadence with a blog post, a video, soon another patch note video, and another blog post. If we can hit that cadence and keep it up, it will be a lot better than what we've mustered in the past." Now, outside of the game's performance, Arrowhead's lack of communication, or should I say lack of consistent communication, comes in a close second in the hierarchy of things that need immediate attention with Helldivers 2. Now, as much of a dumpster fire Bungie is currently connected to, both with Destiny 2 and Marathon, one thing they still do is update the community, and do it frequently. For instance, in September alone, Bungie posted to their website 9 times, ranging from update breakdowns, This Week in Destiny, and more. Now, by comparison, Arrowhead posted to their website 0 times in September and only once in October. In fact, right now, Arrowhead is averaging 1 post to their website per year. So that's once in 2023, once in 2024, and once in 2025. Also layered into this communication discussion is how Arrowhead chooses to communicate, which is the majority of the time through Discord or Reddit, which cuts out quite a few players who do not engage with those platforms. Now, when you combine those two, infrequent post and platform restrictions, it's not a good mix. And furthermore, it feels like there's some layering of responsibility along with way too many checks and balances that relegates the comms team to the background and actually to the non-comms team, while 𝗤𝗏𝗏 has become our main source of information, which is odd to say the least, seeing as how he is the CEO of the studio. Again, a topic for another day, but it does bring us to the latest communication concerning the mid-October, now slightly past that date, performance patch. We know that Arrowhead likes to conduct their updates on Tuesdays, and a lot of players were looking at last Tuesday, which came and went with nothing, and so they looked to today, another Tuesday that was still close to mid-October, or at least sort of, and it came and went, with this update from the official Helldivers Discord being the only post we received today. Quote, "We know some of you were expecting a patch today, but it is still cooking. We will update you with more information tomorrow." Now, this would have been a perfect test case for more consistent communication techniques, is coming out the very day that players were looking at on the calendar, again based on mid-October as relayed by the dev team, only to find out it's not today, but we may get it tomorrow, question mark, or more news about the news for the news we were expecting. And yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this. I don't think any diver out there is against the studio taking the time needed to cook and make it right, because we've been on the receiving end so many times in the past of when Arrowhead does not cook properly. But this is getting silly. With how Helldivers has been performing since the beginning of September, hell, even earlier than that, we deserve to get 2 to 3 meaty and detail-rich posts per week. I mean, if Bungie can do it while the entire studio is engulfed in flames, then Arrowhead can certainly do it. And finally, a quick update about the communication taking place concerning my removal and ban from the Helldivers content creator space, known as the Propaganda Commanders. And I wanted to let you know we're starting to see a bit of action on that front. Now, it's approaching nearly 2 weeks after my ban, and talks have finally begun behind the scenes about the possibility of me returning to the program. Now, I will say that this is very early on, and I can't go into any of the details here, but the gist of it is that the dialogue has started with details to be worked through, and from there, final decisions can be made. I laid out what I was really hoping to achieve in one of my previous Helldivers uploads, especially when it came to the question of censoring creators and how that would be handled in the future in terms of protections. But for now, at least you get to know that the initial talks have begun. Things to watch for come down to whatever this news is we're getting tomorrow of the now delayed performance patch. Will it just be an update to the update of the update tomorrow, or will we get relief for the game as it is clearly suffering? I will, of course, bring you any details on that, and, of course, including any patch notes. Also, with our current liberation rates for the major order, what do you think lays in wait for us on Hellmire? Because you know it's always Hellmire. If you've got any thoughts on anything Helldivers you want to discuss, up to and including my ban, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I will do my best to respond. If you want to help support the channel, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to stay up to date on my latest uploads. Thank you to all of our channel members, for without your support, content like this would not be possible. And if you're interested in jumping in, check on my YouTube homepage for the join button, as we've got tiers and perks for all levels. Until the next one, this is 𝗲𝗲𝗹𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗿𝘀 signing off.